What's up, everybody? Benji Bruce here, Speaking Lifestyle. Today we're going to go over who do you contact at events? Who do you contact to get hired for an event? So that's what I want to go over today. This is one of the questions that people ask about all the time. Like literally everyone's saying, especially with companies, who exactly do I talk to get hired at the company event? So that's pretty much what I'm going to talk about today. Let's see who's hopping on real quick and then we'll get going. All right. So what's up? What is Micah? What's up, Micah, over there on Instagram? What's up, Maggie, Pamela? What's up, all the peeps? All right. So like I said, today we're just going to talk about, I just want to talk about who do you contact to actually get the gigs. I got this email, or I got a Twitter message maybe a week ago or something, where the guy asked this very question where he said, it's like, what's the position of employees that I want to find? And I got asked another question in terms of, don't companies have like a specific person? I just can't call Pepsi and ask them. I need to find the right person. So this is one of the misnomers, the myths inside of the industry that I wish I never would have believed when I started out, because people always said, contact the HR department. HR is who you need to talk to. And that's what I did in the beginning. And that's why it took me so long to just get stuff done, because I was contacting the wrong people, or I wasn't doing it the right way. I always thought I needed to only contact HR people. That's how you're going to get hired. But that is not how it actually works. And so let's just talk about who do you need to contact, and maybe another day I'll go into what you need to say. What's up, Takimi up? I think I say that right. So all right, let's see who else. Michael, what's up? Kathy, what's up? Paul, what's up? Wani, Nick, what's up? Peeps, what's up? Peeps. So like I said, he asked in terms of, don't companies have a specific person? I can't just call Pepsi and ask them. I need to find the right person. And actually, you can. You can just call Pepsi and ask them. You can just call McDonald's and ask them. You can just call anybody and ask them. That's what I want to talk about today. This is one of the things where I don't know why it came about in terms of why people think they need to contact a specific person, or if there's like a meeting planner in the company like Pepsi. Companies like Pepsi, unless they're doing a lot of events, like Aflac does a lot of events, they don't really need to have a meeting planner or a team. They just have regular people there who it's like, hey, it's your turn to plan the events. That's pretty much what happens. And so if they have something like Aflac where they have a lot of events, then they actually have a meeting planner person. But once again, even with a company like Aflac, I did not go through that meeting planner. I didn't go through that person to actually get hired by them. So once again, you can just contact and ask. The bigger the company is, the more you have to focus on the divisions of the company. So like regional, there's regional, national. You got to focus on the divisions. So it would be hard to just contact Pepsi, because the information that they have on their website is going to be normal information just for normal people. So it's going to be hard to contact Pepsi in terms of getting hired for an event. So what you do is you contact their smaller divisions. You say, all right, here's the regional part. Here's this part. It's just in this city. So you contact smaller divisions and you work your way up like that. That's how you go about it with companies. And by the way, guys, if you have any questions, make sure you ask the questions now, because when I'm done, this one isn't going to be long. When I'm done, we're going to be done for today and we'll talk tomorrow. So once again, I want to re-emphasize the fact that for some reason, speakers tend to think, I can't just call a company. I can't just email the company and just ask to get hired for an event. Actually, that is literally what you do. That is literally what you do. When you understand how prospecting works, how outreach works, you get it. You're like, oh, okay. But when you don't understand how prospecting outreach works, then you tend to think too much. You're thinking, you're all in your head. So understand that bigger companies, you need to contact the franchises, the smaller ones, and you kind of work your way up from there. And so it's really important that you understand that no amount of sitting and thinking is going to help you find the right person. Like it's literally impossible. There is no right person in a company. There just isn't. And once again, even if there is a right person, like Aflac, perfect example, there is a right person. I didn't know about it. I didn't contact them in terms of that way. I got hired through the actual vice president of Aflac. And so it doesn't really matter who you talk to. The point is, speakers ask me questions that they should be asking the company questions. So you don't ask me, Benji, who do I talk to at this company to get hired for a presentation? I say, why did you ask me that? Why didn't you ask them that question? I can't answer it for you. I don't know anybody in that company. Ask them that question. That's how you need to think about this whole process. And so it's literally like, I wrote here, I said, it's like, imagine you walk into a store and you need help. What do? You don't sit there and text your friend and say, hey, John, so I'm in Walmart and I need help. Who do I talk to get help? Your friend would be like, what is this retard texting me? What? That's literally what your friend would do. That's literally what I do when people send that email to me. I'm like, what is this retard sending me? What? It's because if you were to do that in a store, if you go into Walmart, you're like, I need help. And you text your friend, hey, who do I talk to in Walmart that can actually help me find some virgin oil, whatever, olive oil, right? And so you're texting your friend that. You'll literally think you're dumb. And so instead, all you do is the first person you see, whoever walks by in freaking blue, you're just like, hey, so who do I talk to get some olive oil? You're like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't work here. I was just wearing blue. All right, you dummy. Who do I talk to get some olive oil? Oh, okay. All right. Oh, so it's on aisle 13. All right, cool. Thanks, man. That's literally what you do. It's the same thing in terms of speaking. And so, that's how it works with everything. You just want to understand how prospecting works. So if you understand how prospecting works, it all makes sense to you. So in the beginning, and this is why, in case you guys haven't seen the pipeline, hold on, let me go to the pipeline again. So this is why the pipeline is the way it is. Let's let this thing pop up. Show you guys the screen real quick. So all you Speak Pro members, just go to the Event Finder and then scroll down and see the pipeline here. So the pipeline, all the stuff in the green, and then there's the purple. The stuff in the green, you're basically qualifying. The stuff in the purple, those are the more qualified leads. In the beginning, in this green part, you don't know anything. You literally know nothing. You don't know who to talk to. You don't know anything. You just know it's an event. Even then, you don't even know much about the event. That's why you contact them to figure it out. So in the beginning, you're finding leads. That's all you're doing in the beginning. A lead is someone who has an interest in your product or service. This is a might buy. This is where you're sitting down and you're like, who can possibly buy what I'm selling? That's what you're thinking about in terms of a lead, a prospect. Who can possibly buy what I'm selling? You don't know if they're going to buy. You don't know if they can buy. You don't know a damn thing about them. Literally nothing other than there's a possibility. That's all you know. That's what a prospect is. That's what a lead is. Then you start qualifying the leads. The qualification process happens as you talk to them. So once again, in this pipeline, so if you look here in the beginning, you just found the lead, you found the event. Now you start to qualify them. Now you email them. Now you're talking to them. You email number one, then you pitch them. Now you're talking to them. So you qualify them. That's how you actually figure it out. You can't sit down and look at the event and look on their website and everything and figure out who to talk to. None of that. Because by the time you figured it out, I've already contacted 20 other events and figured out 20 different ones. And your ass is sitting there trying to figure out one. So you got to understand, like, hey, the way you figure it out is literally imagine you go into Walmart. You don't go into Walmart and text a friend, hey, man, who should I talk to get some olive oil? Your friend's going to be like, dude, what are you, a retard? Come on, were you dropped on your head as a baby? Man, come on, ask somebody. And so it's the same thing, the exact same thing. In the beginning, it's a lead. You don't know anything. You just know that there's a possibility. Then there's what's called a marketing qualified lead and a sales qualified lead. You don't really need to know these things unless you're like a big company. I mean, you don't really need to know these things, but understand this is the verbiage in the industry. A marketing qualified lead is basically a lead that's a little bit better than your normal lead. So you have the prospect. It's pretty much anybody and everybody who has some type of interest. Then you have a marketing qualified lead. These are people who are slightly better. You say, okay, let's say you look up events. You see one event has 20 people. You see another event is, they have 500 people there and it's an annual employee event. Both of them are leads, but the marketing qualified lead is a little bit better. It's going to be this event over here with the more employees, the employee event, that sort of thing. And so it's basically the best of these huge leads that you got. You got a ton of leads. The marketing qualified leads are the best of these leads. Then there's sales qualified leads. Sales qualified leads. What happens in big companies is it goes like this. There's usually a prospector, sometimes a marketing and the prospector, they do the same thing. But there's a prospector where his sole purpose is just to find leads. That's all he's doing, just finding the leads. He's not contacting them, nothing. He's just finding the leads. Then he gives them off to the marketing team. It might be the same people, but the marketing team, they're basically talking to them a little bit. They're talking to them, doing a little bit of research. Once they've decided, all right, this is a really good lead. They've done research on it. They've talked to them. The person seems interested. They want to schedule a demo. Now it becomes a sales qualified lead. This is where the salespeople in the company, they close them. They're like, all right, let's talk on the phone. Let's do this, do that. Yeah, pay me $1 million. They close the lead. That's a sales qualified lead. In the actual pipeline. So if we were to go through this in the pipeline, in the beginning, this is just the prospecting right here. This is just, you're just finding leads. It's the very top, you're prospecting. Then you're sending out email number 1 and your email pitch. You're talking to them. These are essentially where you're qualifying them. This is where you figure out the marketing qualified leads. And here is essentially the sales qualified leads. This is where you're getting down. The purple is a sales qualified leads pretty much. So the green is a marketing qualified and everything. The regular leads, marketing qualified. The purple is a sales qualified. So that's what you're doing. And then the way the numbers work is, let's say you get 100 leads. Out of the 100, 40 of them are marketing qualified, and out of the 40, 3 of them are sales qualified. That's basically how the numbers work. And this is why so many people get confused in terms of how many people they need to talk to, contact, and the whole process, because they're unaware of the numbers. They think, oh, I contacted X number of people. Somebody's got to hire me. In reality, even though you contacted 100 people, only 2, 3 of them are pretty interested. And once again, you need to get another 100 of those in order for one of them to close. And so that's how the numbers work, which is why so many people get so discouraged doing this thing. But that's essentially the process. So in terms of actually talking to them, understand that qualifying or contacting is qualifying. And I understood this when years ago, when my friend Rich, he called up a company out of the phone book. He knew nothing about them. Didn't even know if they did events. Like right now, I tell people Google events. That way you know there's an event going on. My friend didn't even know these companies did events. He just freaking opened the phone book. Hello? Hey, yeah, so I represent this guy named Rich. He's an amazing illusionist. I was wondering, you guys have any entertainment where you need some entertainment for Christmas parties or anything? No? Okay, thanks. All right. Hi, yeah, I represent this illusionist named Rich. Do you guys have any needs for entertainment? Oh, yeah, you do. Okay, great. That's literally what he did. He didn't know anything about him before he called, nothing. And the reason for this is just like, you don't want to spend too much time on a lead, on a prospect where you don't know anything about them. You don't know if they're going to buy anything that you're offering. You don't know if they're going to buy from you. You don't want to spend all this time doing research on them, all this time like trying to figure out the perfect thing to say, everything. And then next thing you know, they're just like, no, not interested. And you just spent an hour on this prospect and you knew nothing. Like you just spent an hour, you just wasted your time. And so my friend, he could have easily just, all right, opened up the phone book. Instead of calling right away, he could have been like, all right, let me do a Google search on them. Okay, let's see who's the CEO of the company. Let's see, is there a manager? Maybe someone I can talk to. Okay, and let's see what kind of events they got. Like he could have easily spent 30 minutes doing that. He didn't, because in the beginning, there's no reason to. They're not invested in you as much. So the way I think of it is, it's almost like dating in a way. Sales is very similar to dating. So it's like you don't want to invest a lot of time into someone, a lead. You don't want to invest a lot of time when they don't invest that time back into you. So your time is very proportional to their time. Same goes with dating, right? You're not going to sit there and keep texting and calling and invest all this time when they don't answer and they don't call and all that. So you're not going to invest a lot of time into them if they're not investing a lot of time into you. So in the beginning, they don't know you, nothing. You're not going to invest a lot of time into them. You're sending out email number 1 to kind of get those feelers. You're kind of getting them to qualify themselves. The people who are qualified, you spend more time with them. Those are the people where you're talking with them. Hey, what do you charge? Hey, oh yeah, we might be interested. Oh yeah, we'll keep your information. You spend more time with those people than everyone else. And so all you're really doing in terms of who do I contact, you simply say, well, who exactly is my target market? Are you going after colleges, high schools, companies? Who exactly are you going after? From that point, you can do a couple things. So if it's colleges, that's really easy. You just Google colleges and then you just freaking contact whoever's there and you just say, hey, who do I talk to at your college to get hired? That's pretty much what you do. with companies, you can look up the names of their events. So this is something I do all the time. I'll look up gala, I'll look up award banquet, annual employee event. You can look up conference. So I'll look up names of the events. What do they call their events? So that's one of the ways to think about it. What do they call their events? Do they call it a conference? What do they call it? And then from there, you Google it. From there, you just look to see what's the website. Any freaking email you see on there, any phone number you see on there, just call them and ask. Send them an email and ask, like, hey, who do I talk to? That's all you're literally doing. I think the reason why so many speakers are confused about this is because they think if they can contact them once or maybe twice, then they're going to get hired. In reality, you have to understand that you're going to be talking to them about 10 times before you actually get hired, or even more. And so this is why so many speakers don't follow up and all that, because they send one email. They're like, oh, I didn't get hired. Oh, man. And they think everything doesn't work. And so you just have to understand the process to where it's literally a full blown process. If you're not talking to people at least 10 times, you're not going to get hired. And so you can do things like, all right, what about meeting planners? So should you search for meeting planners? Yes and no. You can search for meeting planners, but once again, it's like anything. You just search for a meeting planner. It doesn't really matter what event they do or whatever. The question that you have inside of your brain, do not ask me that question. Do not ask another speaker that question. Ask the person that you need to ask who can give you the answer. That's how you want to ask questions. You do not, it's just same thing if you go into Walmart. You do not ask anybody in Walmart for an answer who cannot give you that answer. You ask someone who works there, hey, I need some napkins. What aisle are the napkins on? I need some paper cups. What aisle are the paper cups on? If you ask someone who doesn't work there, they're going to be like, I don't know. I don't work here. Do I look like work? So that's what they're going to do to you. Like, what? Just somewhere, but come on, man. And so you simply ask, and that's essentially what you do. You can get hired through anyone. Just understand that. There's no one person. Just understand how speakers get hired. There's essentially 3 stages in terms of how speakers get hired. Stage number 1, people say, so imagine I'm looking for a speaker. We're planning our event. So I'm planning an event, our annual employee event. We're going to have 1,000 people there. How do I go about hiring a speaker? First thing I think about is what speakers do I already know? So have I seen speakers somewhere online at an event? Have I seen speakers somewhere? If I have seen a speaker before and I'm the person in charge, I'm like, oh yeah, let's get that guy Benji Bruce. I mean, wears purple all the time. I mean, best looking dude I've ever seen in my life. And so that's what they do. That's the first thing they do. If they can't figure out who they know, then they think, okay, who do you know? AKA colleagues. So they're thinking like, hey, John, have you seen a speaker before? No. Okay. Hey, Mary, have you seen a speaker? Oh yeah, this guy Benji Bruce. Oh, cool. All right. And so that's what happens. If none of those work, they go to the internet. At that point, they go to the internet, do a Google search, whatever kind of search, but they're going to the internet. What you want to do is you want to get into those first 2 slots. The internet, is one of those things where you got to do all the SEO if you're going to pop up. You got to do Google ads, all sort of stuff to pop up. So if I can pop up in the first 2 spots, so who do I know? Who do you know? If I can pop up in those 2 spots and I get to them before they ever do the internet search, I'm always going to win every single time. You can spend all the money you want on advertising. You can spend all the time you want on SEO. If I get to them before you, I'm going to get hired before you do. That's why I always tell people do outreach, because when I reach out to you, I say, hey, who hires the speakers? They're like, I do. Okay, great. I'm the greatest speaker in the world. Here's my website. Take a look at my videos. And they're like, okay, cool. I'll keep your information. Now what happens 6-7 months later? Oh yeah, we're doing an event. Is there anyone I know? Oh yeah, that guy Benji, I saw the videos that he sent me. That's what happens. And that's why the whole follow-up sequence is in place, so they don't forget about you in those 6-7 months. So that's the whole purpose of everything. It's one of the reasons why you'll win over everybody else who focuses on SEO and all that sort of stuff. So just understand that's the process. And so when you are reaching out to them, you just say, hey, who hires the speakers? What you're ultimately doing with everything is you're putting everything into your CRM and you're trying to figure out You're trying to narrow down who you contact initially. So I know that I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking to conferences because I know they don't pay. Or if they do pay, they'll pay very little, $500, $1,000. They don't really pay. So there's no reason to talk to them. I only figure this out by contacting a lot of events, narrowing it down in terms of the lead score. All right, these are the negative lead scores. These are the positive. So I only figure that out over time. And so what you're doing is you're thinking, what keywords are you typing in? Are you typing in gala? Are you typing in award banquet? What keywords are you typing in? You're thinking the details of their event. How many people are at the event? You're thinking of small details like that. You're thinking, are there any clues in the email conversations that you had with previous events that can give you qualities of current events that are more likely to hire you? So you dissect those old emails that you had where the people hired you. Just dissect them and just keep reread them 20 different times. Just say, all right, is there something I'm missing? And so that's what you're doing throughout the entire time. So you can start to narrow down who you talk to and how often you talk to them. And so ultimately, what you say is the qualification process. It's not who do I contact. That's the very first thing. It's just, you just email them, hey, who do I talk to? That's what you do with anything. Doesn't matter if it's a church. Doesn't matter if it's a freaking college. Doesn't matter if it's a high school. Doesn't matter if it's a company. Doesn't matter. You just say, who do I talk to? And then you talk to them after they say this person's in charge. You talk to them, you qualify them. And that's the hard part for everybody. That's the part where if you don't know how to pitch, what happens is you talk about yourself too much. You don't know how to create curiosity to get them to click on the link to your website. You don't know how to sound in demand. All that's the stuff that we talk about like inside Speak Pro Academy, but that's the stuff that you got to really, really master in terms of how you actually have those conversations. What you want to do with everything is make sure you create the templates. I can't stress this enough. If you're not a Speak Pro Academy member, if you don't have the templates, everything you say should be saved. Everything. When you initially contact a company, I mean, it's going to be wrong in the beginning, but save it. That way you have something to improve upon later on. So that's what you want to do. If you start out with a pitch, it's going to be wrong. Your pitch is going to suck. It's going to be wrong. But what you do is you save into a Google document or save into the template, whatever you want to do. Just save it. And when you contact another event, use that same template, just change it up a little bit when you're talking to them and think about how can I improve this? How can I sound more in demand? The last person didn't respond, so how can I improve it this time? That's what you're doing every single time. Every single thing. When you contact them and they don't reply and you follow up with them, what was the follow-up email that you just sent? Copy and paste that follow-up email into a template. Use that. That's how you build your templates. If you're a Speak Pro member, you have all the templates, but that's how you build the templates in the beginning. And so a lot of people tend to struggle with this in terms of who do I contact? They struggle because they're thinking way, way too much. By the time you've thought, I've already done. That's what it comes down to. You're thinking way too much. You simply say in your brain, you're like, who do I contact? All right, let me just freaking ask somebody. Same thing. If you were to go to Walmart, what do? You don't sit there and say, I wonder what aisle the paper cups are on. Let me text my friend. Hey, I'm at Walmart. Do you know which aisle the paper cups are on? Send. Okay, while I'm waiting for that, maybe I'll watch some Netflix, maybe watch a YouTube video. All right, no, okay. I wonder what cups what aisle the paper cups are on, And this entire time, you could have just asked somebody. They would have told you. You could have been there already. You could have got your paper cups. You could have been gone. But now you're waiting on a text from your friend. You're thinking about where's the paper cups. You're thinking about all this. By the time you've thought, I've already done. So a lot of people, you guys, you need to understand how real entrepreneurs really build their business. I think a lot of people think entrepreneurs have a plan. I'll tell you right now, every entrepreneur built as they went. That's how literally every entrepreneur did it. You figure it out as you go. You do not sit down and plan everything. It's impossible. You literally, you sit down and you have an idea. You say, okay, all right. So I know that if you're looking online, let's say I go to an event online, I'm on the website and I see there's two different people to contact. There's a marketing department and then there's the basic info at so-and-so. Say, okay, well, marketing department will probably know. Let me just contact them. I just pick one. Just, all right, that one will probably know. You just pick one. That's all you do. And so don't overthink this. So let's see if there are any questions real quick. All right, so let's see. Kathy said, organizations within companies hire speakers and host events. That's what we did at the bank. Yep. So let's see. Are you aware that's a derogatory term? I don't know which one's a derogatory term. Virgin. Yes. When I said virgin oil, I thought, the virgin olive oil. It's like the brand to that. So let's see. Wani said, how many emails should you follow up with before picking up the phone and calling if your emails aren't getting answered? That ultimately depends on you. So if you want to do that, then that's why you create a sales cadence. So the sales cadence is basically the days that you're going to contact events. So you say day number 1, I'm going to send out email number 1. You say I'm going to wait 4 days, and then day number 4 or 5, that's when I'm going to send out email number 2. And then I'll wait 7 more days. That's when I'm going to send out an email and I'm going to call them and leave a voicemail. And then on day number 20, that's when I'm going to call them and leave a voicemail. And so that's what you do with your sales cadence. There is no really right amount of time in terms of when to call them if they're not answering. That's just what you want to do in terms of your sales cadence. You just build out a cadence like that, and you do that with every single lead. That's what you do. So like me, my sales cadence doesn't involve calling people right now. It did in the beginning, but now it doesn't. If you want to call people, you can call people. There is no right or wrong to that one. But that's what you do in terms of just building out a sales cadence. So let's see. Nick said, so when you're first starting out, you settle for small amounts, but others you do for free to get video footage and testimonials. Well, in the beginning, you do everything for free. So you don't even ask for money in the beginning. You don't want to have a barrier to hiring you in the beginning. So in the beginning, all you're doing is thinking about how do I get video footage of me on a stage and video testimonials. That's all you're thinking about, because you need to build a bomb ass looking website. And so the only way you're going to do that is by getting all the video footage, the testimonials. That's the only way you're going to do it. So there's no reason to put a barrier between you and an event. Like literally no reason. That's why I say in the beginning, not only should you do it for free, but if you have to pay to get on the stage, do it. Pay to get on stage. See it as an advertising cost. That's all it is. And the reason why speakers don't do this is because they let their egos get in the way. They're like, well, I mean, I deserve to get paid to speak. I deserve to get paid for this. No, you don't. You don't deserve anything. You're not entitled to a damn thing. You don't deserve a damn thing until someone says, here's what you deserve. You don't deserve anything. Especially in the beginning when you don't have a great website, you don't have video, you don't have nothing. You don't deserve a damn thing. If anything, it is right that they're telling your ass to pay, because they don't know if you're good. You're going to ruin their event if you suck. And so in the beginning, they don't know any of that. So in the beginning, you got to say, hey, I'll come, I'll do it for free. Shoot, I'll freaking work at your damn event if you guys let me on your stage. Like in the beginning, you have to operate very differently than everything else. And once you get those, once you have enough, you got a great looking website, then you start charging. And even then, you got to think, if you start charging, you won't really be able to get as many gigs as if you were to do it for free. So you think, all right, I'm not going to charge $5,000 because I'm not going to get a ton of gigs. And right now I don't really it's a ghost town speaking schedule at this point. So if I just say $500 or $1,000 or $2,000 or whatever the hell they can pay, then all right, that'll get me on stages. So that's what you're doing in the beginning. In the beginning, you're doing things very, very differently than when you're established and when you actually have the gigs. I do not mean by in the beginning meaning how many years you've been doing this. It doesn't matter if you've been doing this 50 years. If it doesn't look like you've been doing this for 50 years, then you've been doing it for 10 minutes. That's what happens. It doesn't matter if you have a bad looking website, but you've been speaking for 50 years, it doesn't matter. Like that's why I keep saying to people, I can take a newbie. We can literally film all sorts of stuff. I can make this person look like they've been speaking for freaking 25 years with a bomb ass looking website, bomb ass demo video and everything. And I can do it in a week. And it's just a matter of how exactly you position this person's brand. And so that's all you're looking to do in the beginning. Once you have that, then you can start charging. But in the beginning, you can't. So let's see. Tammy said, I'm having people wanting to talk on the phone. I don't mind right now. Yeah. So in the beginning, when people say, hey, we got to talk on the phone, you got to be like, all right, let's do it. Eventually you can say, oh, I'm sorry, Benji doesn't talk to people on the phone unless he gets a 50% deposit and we've actually sealed the deal for the event. And so that's what I do now. Like, if people want to talk to me on the phone, the answer is always no, every single time. If people want to schedule a call to buy the program, that's different, because that's a whole different business. But in terms of actually getting hired for events, workshops, things like that, the answer is pretty much always no. The only exception is if they're way high up in the company. So if a person says the VP wants to talk to you, the CEO wants to talk to you, then it's almost like, okay, sure. But in the beginning, that's not really how it works. In the beginning, if they say we want to talk to you, we just got to ask you some questions. You got to say, all right, let's do it. And hell, call them up right then and there if you want. Don't even respond to that email. Just call them up. All right. Yeah. So I got your email. So what did you want to talk about? That's literally what I do. Like, guarantee you. And I learned this once again from my friend Rich. This is when, remember how I said a while ago, when people try to act in demand, they try to sound in demand, they do it wrong, then they end up losing the gig, because they come across, people can easily see that they're faking it. Like, they can easily see through the BS. And so, what speakers and entertainers would do is someone would call them and they would make them wait to return the phone call. They'd be like, well, I mean, if I'm really busy, then I got to make them wait a day at least to return the call. What my friend did, the one who's actually getting booked, I told him about this. I was like, so when someone calls, like, do you kind of like make them wait like to the next day or what? Like to appear busy? He was like, hell no, I call him back immediately. He's like, I just call him back right then and there. He's like, cause obviously if you wait, then they get a chance to call other people, to talk to other people. Like, your ass is not that important. You are not no Tony Robbins. You are not no Gary Vaynerchuk. You are not that important. And so if they call you or email you and you make them wait that long, they've already talked to several other people who talk back to them, and then they've already signed a freaking contract. And so in the beginning, you do things very, very differently in the beginning. You answer the calls faster, everything you just do very, very differently. Just understand that building your business and running a business are two different things. When you're building a business, you're doing things that don't really scale. You're doing things that are basically make you come across as desperate, but you do those things to get the business. And then as you grow, then you start running your business, you start building systems in the business, and then you start making everything more processed, more systematic, and now everything starts to be very different. So just understand that. Wani said, when it comes to pictures on your website, do you have to put photos of large crowds? Most of my events have been small. So once again, in the beginning, you post whatever you have. If you have small photos, whatever. In the beginning, I posted stuff that didn't even make sense. So here's me trying to get hired by companies, trying to do events inside these hotels, trying to get hired by companies. On my website, I had pictures and video footage of me performing in restaurants. Makes 0 sense. 0 sense whatsoever. But what I did is I didn't just have pictures of me and videos in the restaurants, performing in restaurants. I posted motivational speakers. So it was a text. I was framing them the right way. So it wasn't like restaurant magician. I didn't post that. It was like motivational speaker. Even though there's just pictures and testimonials of me in restaurants, that's all I did. I did that. And the same goes with if you have pictures of smaller crowds, you post whatever you have right now, and then you contact the events, once again doing it for free, paying to be on a stage. You contact those events with the sole purpose of getting better pictures, better video footage. To all you Speak Pro members, like Wani, I don't know if you're a Speak Pro member or not, but Wani, if you're a Speak Pro member, go inside the Speak Pro Academy. There's all the pictures there for you. So if you were to go to the resources section, right, let me show you. So if you go to the resources section over here on the right side, scroll down, and here, so where it says photos and graphics, just click that, and then you'll see all the photos. Like you can kind of see some here. Like notice that these photos, let me zoom in. Like you see here is just a big room, and here you can't really see, but there's a crowd there. There's another crowd there. But like you can't see me on a stage or anything like that. You may see something on a stage, but you can't really see me. But you can use those photos for your website. They're not stock photos. They're my photos. So you can use those photos. The only time you can't use those photos is if I don't like you. Then I'm like, no, I don't like you. You can't use my photos. But so all you Speak Pro Academy members, I like all you guys. So you guys can use my photos. All right. So any other final questions before we are done for today? I want to reemphasize the fact of who do I contact? Who do you contact at a company? It's very, very similar to you walking into Walmart, knowing, hey, I need paper cups. And you say to your friend, you text your friend, who do I talk to here at Walmart to find the paper cups for me? It doesn't make any sense. Instead, you ask the person at that company. If you want to get hired in colleges, churches, high schools, companies, anything, you do not ask anybody but the people at that company. You simply say, I'm a motivational speaker. I'm a badass mother. Shut your mouth. I'm a bad speaker. Bad meaning good. I'm a great speaker. Who do I talk to come speak at your guys' events? Well, I don't really know if we do events or anything. Okay, then, all right, fine. I ain't talking to you. I'm going to talk to somebody else. Hey, who do I talk to at your company to freaking hire me? Oh, you want to talk to John? All right, cool. Can you introduce me to John real quick? All right, hey, John, I'm a badass mother. Shut your mouth. And that's what you do. That's literally what you do. So Nick said, how much does picture quality matter? I have a Sony Handycam. So basically it's like anything. You just get the best quality you have at that moment. Do not let anything hold you back. I'm telling you, if I had a freaking camera that was built, if I had a freaking Kodak camera, one of those, and then it slides out, you know what I'm talking about. You got to do that, and you got to, you got to do that. If you had one of those, if I had one of those cameras, I would still use that camera. I'd be like, all right. And then I'd go ask somebody in the high rise, hey, let me use your phone real quick. Let me take a picture of this thing real quick. So I'd set the camera down and be like, all right, let me take a picture. All right, I got it. I got to email me that thing. I got to put this on my website. All right. I'm telling you, it doesn't matter how bad quality it is. Nothing. I would do whatever it takes in the beginning and replace it with better stuff as time goes on. In the beginning, what happens with a lot of speakers is they make excuses. I don't have a great quality camera. I don't have this. I don't have pictures of this. Doesn't matter. Use whatever you have and replace it as time goes on. That's what you do. Remember in the beginning, I had restaurant magic stuff. It made zero sense. Just restaurant magic. But as I got hired, then I said, okay, fine. This was an event, 20 people, whatever. I got some testimonials. Let me post those testimonials. Okay. I'm going to post pictures of this stuff. And I post pictures where it was like zoomed in. You couldn't really see the crowd or something like that. But that's what you do. In the beginning, you use whatever you have, post it, you replace it as time goes on. Anything is better than nothing. Anything is better than nothing in the beginning. So let's see. Wani said, join at the end of February finally. Nice. Cool. All right. So Wani, if you're joining at the end of February, the pictures, you don't even have to worry about the pictures now. Like you'll have tons of pictures that you can use. At that point, it's just a matter of can you get creative with the pictures. Like you can get creative with them, put them into collage or however you want. But once you join the Speak Pro Academy, you'll have all the pictures you need. I wish there was a way I could figure out how to get you guys video footage too, but I haven't figured that out. Figured I'd just leave that up to you. Can't do everything for you. All right. So we are good to go for today. All right, so I will see you guys tomorrow. Yep. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific time. Take care, everybody. Adios. Deuces.